WoodSongs Kids is made possible by the Kentucky Department of Tourism, welcoming visitors from all over the world to our lakes, mountains, parks, sports, music, art festivals, and more. Information on everything Kentucky has to offer is online at kentuckytourism.com. By visitlex.com, providing information and activities to visitors of historic Lexington, Kentucky. By the Martin Guitar Company, building handcrafted guitars for professionals and front porch pickers since 1833. Online at martinguitars.com. And by the Deering Banjo Company, making American-made handcrafted banjos. You can visit their full catalog of banjos online at deeringbanjos.com.
WoodSongs Kids, celebrating the music of America's front porch from the Lyric Theater in Lexington, Kentucky.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Sarah Molly B. Cool. Welcome to WoodSongs Kids. Please welcome our friend, folk singer, Michael Jonathan.
Thank you, Sarah. 12 years old, our co-host. Ready to sing a song with me? Sitting on a creaky old rocking chair. They say it's gonna rain, we don't care. Dancing with you all afternoon on the front porch with me.
Listen to the rhythm of a summer rain, tapping out a tempo on my window pane. Nothing like summer on the front porch swing, making my banjo ring.
I'm playing my banjo on a rocking chair.
You can play the fiddle in your underwear.
Just as pretty as a rainbow in your hair. On the front porch with me. Oh, when you're on the front porch
with me.
Thank you, Sarah, and welcome everybody to another broadcast of WoodSongs Kids. Youngsters come from all over the nation to be on our show, and what are we doing right now? We're treating WoodSongs Kids like a multimedia front porch, and these children are absolutely wonderful. They deserve our attention. They're wonderful musicians, and they're here to inspire you. We tell them all that you don't have to take music so seriously. Sometimes it's just good to have fun. And these kids are not only really good musicians, but they have fun with it. So be prepared to be inspired. We're going to start off with a 13-year-old youngster from Malvern, Ohio, Owen Hoopes. He's going to play Blackberry Blossom right here on WoodSongs Kids.
1, 2, 3, 4.
There it is. All the way from Malvern, Ohio, 13-year-old Owen Hoopes. It's nice to have you here, Owen. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
So you're playing the fiddle.
Yes.
Right now, did you learn it as the violin at first, reading notes, or did you start right away playing by ear?
Well, it was actually kind of playing by ear. Started with the Suzuki method, learning classical violin.
And then you graduated over to things like bluegrass and stuff, obviously.
Yeah, it was about a couple years ago.
Okay, really? So you've only been doing this for a couple of years, and you're on a national broadcast already. So now you guys have a rural lifestyle, right? So are there folks in your area of Ohio that you get to pick and play with?
If I get to go to like a bluegrass jam, yes, but there isn't really anybody around us real close to play with.
Well, I knew that. Now, I wanted to bring that up because this is something that you have driven yourself to do pretty much, right? You heard the violin, you wanted to learn how to do it, and you sort of just powered yourself and motivated yourself to learn it. Was this a difficult thing for you to do? How old were you when you started?
Started learning bluegrass?
You started playing the violin.
Oh, I was about 5.
About 5 years old. Okay, and so now you for a couple of years you've been learning bluegrass music, right? And you're here with a friend of yours, Hunter, who's doing a great job playing the guitar. And you're going to do a tune that's called a Fiddle medley, right? And he's picking up the mandolin. And what's interesting about the fiddle and the mandolin is the way they're tuned, right? Do you want to talk about that for a minute? About the similarities between the two?
Yeah, the similarities is, they're the same tuning, E, A, D, and G, and actually the mandolin has eight strings instead of only 4 to give it more volume. But there's 2 strings for G, 2 strings for D, 2 strings for A, and 2 strings for E.
But it's tuned just like your fiddle, right?
Yeah.
And so the fingering is almost the same, except the mandolin has frets.
Right.
And you don't have any frets. Now, was it hard for you to learn how to play the fiddle and get the note exactly? Because you don't have the fret to make that happen. You have to put your finger exactly where the note is.
I had a really good teacher
who
helped me. So,
well, let's check it out. It's called a Fiddle Medley. It's Owen Hoopes from Malvern, Ohio, 13 years old on WoodSongs Kids. That's Master Fiddler, 13 years old, all the way from Malvern, Ohio. What a good job. What do you think there, Sarah? That's the fiddle playing is pretty good, isn't it?
I think he did pretty good.
Pretty good, right. Now, we're going to get ready for someone else who's pretty good as well. He is 13 years old as well. He's from Chattanooga, Tennessee, and he plays banjo kind of like J.D. Crowe does. He's going to do a tune called Earl's Breakdown. It's Derek Stone, 13, from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Earl's Breakdown, 13 years old. What a beautiful banjo style you had. Was this a hard thing for you to learn?
No, not really.
Now, how old were you when you started?
I was 12.
You were 12 years old. You playing 1 year? Really?
A year and a half now.
A year and a half. Oh, excuse me. So you're just brand new. How'd you get so good so quick?
Well, I have to reward it to my teacher, Aaron Holder, in the folk music store in Red Bank, Tennessee.
And they encouraged you, and you got surrounded by a bunch of folks that would give you tips and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the banjo's an interesting instrument. Sarah, what do you think of the banjo?
Did you know that the banjo originated in Africa? At first, the banjo just had a stick and a gourd with just 2 strings. Then someone decided to make it have 4 strings, and now it has 5 strings, which became really popular.
Well, you know a lot about the banjo. That's pretty good. And Derek, when you were learning the banjo at 12 years old, I mean, that's a heavy instrument, right?
The first one I got, which was a Gold Tone AC5, I thought it was heavy, but this thing is like this thing is like 9 pounds heavier than that.
Well, okay. Well, let's check you out how you play. You're going to do a tune called Reuben. You ready? Derek Stone, 13 years old, Chattanooga, Tennessee, WoodSongs kid. Oh, yeah. 13 years old, playing the banjo for just a year and a half, all the way from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Derek Stone, an absolutely beautiful player. You know, poet and writer Carl Sandburg said that a child is God's opinion that the world should go on, and that's why we really enjoy our WoodSongs kids.
Hi, kids. This is Michael Martin Murphy, and I play guitar and banjo and sing songs. And you're listening to folk singer Michael Jonathan and WoodSongs Kids.
Thank you, Michael Martin Murphy. He had that big song called Wildfire, and he's a friend of mine that became a friend of Owen Hoopes, and we're going to talk about that next. But you're going to do a tune called Return to Dismal Swamp on your fiddle. You ready? You ready? Okay, Owen, 13 years old, from Malvern, Ohio. Owen Hoopes, 13 years old, Malvern, Ohio. Now that's an interesting song, Owen. Who made that song popular?
John McEwen.
John McEwen. Now, we had heard from Michael Martin Murphy, who was a friend of John McEwen. John McEwen's a friend of ours. He did the Big Circle album. He was founding member of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. And we introduced you to John, right? And then you went to see him in concert. And what did John find out about you?
Well, he found out that I was still renting a violin.
You didn't actually own a violin, right, at the time, right? So we put a call out to some of our friends to see if, well, did anybody have a violin that they might make available to you, right? And then what happened?
Well, I got this violin in the mail from Casey Penn, who's a wonderful singer and guitar player. I think she's a songwriter too.
Yeah.
And she sent me this violin made by Hilton Lytle called the Pink Pelican. And it's the best violin I've ever played in my entire life.
And it was a gift from Casey to you, right?
Casey, yeah.
Isn't that wonderful? He's also wonderful. He's from Chattanooga, Tennessee. He's going to do a tune called Run Around on his amazing banjo. 13 years old. It's Derek Stone on WoodSongs Kids. Derek Stone, 13, not bad. Your banjo playing is wonderful. Now you're doing something with your right hand. You've got some gear on your right hand. Show everybody what that is. So it's a thumb pick. And what are those two metal things called?
These are finger picks.
Finger
Metal
picks.
finger
Was that
picks.
hard to learn how to play with a finger pick?
So actually, before we moved to Tennessee, I was actually because we were trying to look for houses in Chattanooga, and I picked up the banjo because my mom got that for me when we visited, and all I had was a thumb pick. So all I was doing was just
Just playing with a thumb pick, right?
yeah.
But now when you don't have the finger picks on, you can feel the strings. When you have the picks on, you can't feel them. So you have to learn how to sense them through the finger pick, right? Mm-hmm. But it sounds better when you use them, right?
You can get more power.
Yeah, a lot more power. Let's check out your power. This is a tune called Theme Time. He's 13 years old, Derek Stone on WoodSongs Kid. He's going to be joined by Owen. two 13-year-olds. Wonderful having Derek Stone on his banjo, Owen Hoopes on his beautiful fiddle, and these kids are just absolutely amazing. Henry David Thoreau said that in a world of peace and love, music would be the universal language, and we believe that on WoodSongs Kids because Mr. Rogers said that listening is where love begins, and when these kids play their music, everybody stops. Everybody starts to listen, and the beautiful thing about listening is you can't fight when you're listening, right? And the world would be so much better if there were more kids playing music. So moms and dads, if you see your kids wanting to learn music, don't discourage them. Enjoy them. Put them in the greatest stage on the world as your living room couch. Your family's the greatest audience for everybody. We want to thank everybody for tuning in, right?
Thanks for being a part of our show. Join us again next week for more WoodSongs Kids.
Closed captioning provided by Highbridge Springwater. WoodSongs Kids is made possible by the Kentucky Department of Tourism, welcoming visitors from all over the world to our lakes, mountains, parks, sports, music, art festivals, and more. Information on everything Kentucky has to offer is online at kentuckytourism.com. By visitlex.com, providing information and activities to visitors of historic Lexington, Kentucky. By the Martin Guitar Company, building handcrafted guitars for professionals and front porch pickers since 1833. Online at martinguitars.com. And by the Deering Banjo Company, making American-made handcrafted banjos. You can visit their full catalog of banjos online at deeringbanjos.com.